To the Deputy Prime Minister. Government is aware that of 7 of North Queensland's 100 million hectares is now prickly acacia infestation. The North's cattle herd dwindles at 4.5 million, whilst turn-off is only 1 in 6, half the nation's 1 in 3. Queensland is considering the Riverways and Grasslands Improvement Plan. Will the minister consider providing $2.5 million for engineering and construction planning for Hughenden, the first micro-irrigation scheme in a plan that ultimately increases the North's beef production by $5 billion a year?
The Deputy Prime Minister has the call.
Well, Mr Speaker, I thank the honourable member for Kennedy for his question, and I know that he always likes direct answers, so I'll give him one. We're happy to consider that. I think it's only fit and proper that we start working on further irrigation infrastructure throughout this nation, and that is why we've put $2 billion towards a concessional loans scheme to assist those in the construction of them, as well as $500 million towards grants. That $500 million towards grants during the election campaign was no better enunciated than at Rookwood Weir, when with the Prime Minister we put $130 million on the table to start the advancement of that community. If we get that project through, and we are working with the state government now in a bipartisan way to try and make sure we do, that'll be an extra over 2,000 jobs a year, an extra $1 billion a year in income for that area. It goes to show you the direct correlation between water infrastructure and the benefit to that community. And I know the people of Rockhampton and were very appreciative of that, and I've got the member here today in the chamber. There are so many irrigation schemes that have been looked at through Queensland, and we have 14 studies that we have now committed to in Queensland, all the way from the south of the state, from Emu Swamp, right up into the member for Kennedy's neck of the woods. We also understand the concern he brings forward about prickly acacia, and that's why we have a substantive amount of money that's on the table, $100 million in one section, towards research and development grants, and part of that is to look at the biosecurity measures. The member would be aware that we are already looking at some controls of biosecurity issues in that area. I think one of our great successes lately has been dealing with Panama Race 4 up on the Atherton tableland, and making sure we get it on top of that for the banana industry, which is worth about $600 million a year. This is the practical delivery of practical outcomes so that we can stand behind the beef industry. A beef industry, a banana industry, agricultural industries now, which are our second biggest exports after iron ore. We're also very aware that within the beef industry, and why it's so important, is that we currently have record beef prices. Record beef prices, they have never ever been higher. And this is because we stand behind programs which are vitally important to the member for Kennedy's area, such as the live cattle trade. And we were happy to announce just the other day the reopening of the live cattle trade into Japan, because that is also another vital component of making sure that we get the best returns back through the farm gate. We understand the vagaries of the climate, we understand what the drought has done, but for those in production now, especially in the cattle industries, they have never ever seen better times in their life than they've seen under a coalition government.